Hello YouTube. Hello everyone out here. This is my first tutorial with voice record. Sorry for bad quality, I'm using phone to record sound. I don't have a microphone, so I'm using phone. Sorry, don't worry about that. I hope you all understand what I speak. Okay, so let's start off. This is a texturing tutorial. Simple basics for everyone to see how to texture correctly. So, I'm going to show you a gravel texture, how to make gravel texture in Blender for Blender game engine. Okay, let's start. First, you must make a plane in your scene. Scaled up 8 times. Okay, now you should add a sun lamp. Put it up a bit, and now what do you see is this white plane and sun. Make sure to click on plane, press tab U and unwrap, otherwise it won't work. And you need an image where to save your baked textures. Let's call it just bake and choose your resolution. Don't edit anything else. I'll leave it 1024. Okay, now you see this fancy black texture square here and this scene. To make everything easier, we're going to just duplicate this. Hold down Shift and press D, and then press Z -2. Enter. Now you got this plane on the bottom. Add a new material for this and name it base matte. This will be just a gravel texture material. Apply no matter. It will be just for background, something like sun, sand. So make new texture, open, and make sure you have downloaded some kind of gravel texture seamless. This one will be for me. Clear texture, nothing useless. 4, scaled up as you wish. Now this will be too low amount. Let's set it to 15. Okay, this looks nice. And for better background, I'm just going to turn on normal and scale it down to 0.2. Something like this will be fine. And now it's fine. Now let's go to the, for example, layer 3. Add a simple cube at the center. Now let's do one thing. Quick tab to switch to edit mode, W, and subdivide smooth. Now it automatically switches. Do this once more, or go to object mode. Let's edit it in layer 1 so we can better see it. Here's sunlight, which will help us. Set it to smooth. Maybe subdivide it once more, as this is render and performance doesn't matter. Now you can edit it in edit mode, for example, like doing this. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, I pressed O, but you can also switch it here, disable, enable, or press O button. This is the first way we make this. This will be a rock for texture, a base. Or you can just go to sculpt mode. And here you can smooth it, wrap it as you wish. For example, you can add some kind of bumps on it, or just draw it a bit. I'm going going to smooth it down. This will be a basic rock, very small, round shaped. Okay, I think this will be fine. Now what we do is add new material, set this up and this to something like 05. The color doesn't matter. If you wish, you can turn off mirror. Let's see how it looks in rendered. Yeah, turn on this blend and real sky and put colors as you wish, and also make sure you enable ambient occlusion and set it to multiply. And you can also set environment lighting, but this time, well, let's set it to 5, something like this or less. This will look fine. And now let's go to material and increase this to 3. And this will to 1. Maybe 2 will be fine. And this one we better decrease to 0.1. Well, I have low computers and it's quite slow, but this doesn't matter much this time. It just slows down the process. And yeah, you just click tab, select all vertices by clicking A, and you hit unwrap cube projection. It will mess up the UVs like that, but that's fine for us. And we go here, new, and we open a rock texture we have downloaded somewhere. For example, this one. You can find them in by googling on them, and in Google Images you'll see them. I'll put up normal for this one. 2.1 should be fine. Let's see in render mode. It looks good. I hope you agree with me. This is fine. What do we do next now is we just, okay, let me put my phone on table. We will make multiple different stones, but generate them very quick and easy. Shift D to duplicate. Now, let's go to the modifier step. Now, go on and select the modifier, simple deform. As origin, select the first rock. Make sure you name it so you can quickly find it. And now you can just adjust the values as you wish. Make them different. And let's make another one by shrink wrapping it around. It will look like broken. and that's fine for us. Now apply all the modifiers. And move all the rocks to the layer 1. I mean layer 3, I'm sorry. Now they are on layer 3. Let's press Ctrl G to group them and call the group rocks or stones. I'll call it stones. Okay, now we should also edit the bottom plane. Subdivide it a few times, return. And add displace modifier. Make new textures. Select it clothes. This will be fine. And now let's select this one as and reduce the strength. .o file will be fine for us, and make it smooth, of course. Apply. Now let's make a particle system. Hair. Let's see what we can do here. Grove, so grove here, and stones. They are a bit too much and too large. Reduce the length to 2. Hit advanced. Reduce the number to 400 or something like that. I think this will be fine, maybe 500. Now, make sure they're random. And as you saw, there's a rotation. Use global axis and make it random like .2. Also, where's our... Adjust it as you need. And let's find our scale data. Let's set it to .5 randomness and size to .075. This looks pretty. Now, one more thing you want to do is... No, actually, this should be all, I'm not sure. So the bake texture here, and let's see if it's already fine. First we will render full render. So select it to active, make sure it's on, and margin, no margin, make sure there's no margin. So let's select this plane with rocks first, and after that hold down shift and select the top line, which has a single quad and UV on it. Now we can bake this to this plane, this data stored inside of this plane onto that UV. It won't receive any else data, just UV for this image from this plane. That's why we need plane. Let's bake. Wait. Select it in edit mode. Return and bake. Word. Right. I've got it. Yeah, one step I forgot about is you go to modifiers and convert. Now make sure you hold down Shift before selecting the top plane, so you don't lose any selected objects. Don't select lamp, never select lamps, but select only required objects, so don't hit A. Or if you hit A, do it like this. Hit A. Now, hold down Shift and right-click lamp twice. If you right-click it twice, it will select as the prior and then deselect. And now, right-click on the top plane to select it at prior. Great. And now, hit Bake. As you can see, we're getting a nice, fancy rocks here. A gravel texture. It could be, but we'll leave it like it is. You can make better one like that if you wish. And now image, save as image, and for example, let's save it in our texture pack and gravel diffuse. Now we want to bake normal map. Just select normal here. And yeah, leave everything as it is. Make sure again select it to active and no merge it and bake. It will start texture baking again. You can see a nice normal map made here. It looks fine for me. If there are glitches for you, try to figure out. Maybe you should make sure all normals are facing outward and make sure this plane is under the one on which you have the UV. Image, save as image, and gravel normals.png. Save as image. Right. And last thing we should render is ambient occlusion. Make sure you press normalized, otherwise it won't be fine for Blender, and hit bake. Wait for it to render. You can see a fine ambient occlusion texture here. If you select approximate gathering, you'll get a smoother, not such noisy texture, but it will take longer to render, and sometimes it's better to have noise. It will make lower resolution textures look more realistic, as they won't be such solid and flat looking. And make sure to call it gravel AO ambient occlusion and save as image. Now we have done this. We can go on. Select Blender, clear everything, Blender game. We're going to just test them out. GLSL, this is required. And now, let's add a plane for test. Let's scale it up, select material view, let's add sun lamp. Currently nothing else, just sun lamp. If you need something else, you are free to add it. But I'm going just to add a single sun lamp, rotate it a bit, unwrap this, go to the material tab, new material, set this to something like .1, maybe a lower if you wish. That's not much matter. You can adjust it as you wish. Make new texture. First one is going to be diffuse, a color for our texture. Now find where you saved it. Gravel diffuse, here it is. And now let's see what's our problem. If we, as you can see, this is a large plane, but the texture is quite small. What if we want to scale it up? Let's see. First moment it may look fine, but yeah, you can see a seam here, and that's not fine. Let's go and find out why it is and how to fix it. Find the place where you saved the texture. Okay, here it is. You have to get GIMP. Make sure you have GIMP and open it with GIMP. GIMP has built-in filter to create seamless textures. Go to Map, Make Seamless, and just here override. Now you can just exit, discard changes. Don't worry, it will save. And again, do it for every texture you made. Now, filters, map, make seamless, file, override, gravel, normals, discard changes, quit. And this one too. No, not that, this one. Sorry. Okay. Filters, map, make seamless, file, override, gravel AO, and now you can see they're overriding like a overriding with transparency. In this AO texture you can see it, but actually when you mix it with other textures it will be almost invisible effect, so don't worry. Just quit, and let's return here and select the UV image, enter, open our image and reload. Now it looks much better. You shouldn't see any any seams there, but yeah, a blank diffuse looks bad. Let's add normal map. So open your normal map. Where is my normal map now? Here. So let's see. We disable color and enable normal, but it looks very awful. Let's set it to what was it? No, it was something smaller. I forgot. I'm really sorry. 4. As you can see, it doesn't look fine yet. Looks very noisy and jittered. Yeah, we don't want it. The rocks already looks like 3-dimensional deformed. They're like facing outwards, but which we shall do is select normal enough here, and now it looks much better. It is not so noisy. It's now much better, sharper. Now rocks looks really fine. In my opinion, they look quite real, like facing outwards the ground, and it's fine. And they're quite shiny too. If you want, you can make specular map too, so the rocks are shinier than ground. But I'm not gonna show it this time. The last thing we add is another texture called AO. This texture gives it indirect shadows, which makes even more dark and realistic look. By default, it just overlays. Now let's see how we fix this. And there's one easy way to mix these two colors correctly. You can multiply them together, as AO uses the alpha channel. And now let's see, if we disable and enable, AO gives it like a more darkness around rocks, which makes it look better. So this is how we make simple gravel texture, but it is a bit too specular. Let's decrease this value, and usually you will want the rocks to be smaller because this is gravel. Let's scale them to 8, everything. Unfortunately, you should scale each texture separately here. And the last one. And yeah, this is the way you get to fine looking textures, planar textures. For grown textures you can use in your games. And yeah, please subscribe and wait for another tutorials. And don't forget to leave a like if this was useful for you too. Goodbye YouTube. I'm saying goodbye because this tutorial has ended. Hope you liked my first tutorial of Blender and see you later.